Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Again, just a courtesy, we ask that you please silence your cell phone. Also, in asking questions, uh, state your name, media affiliation, each time that you ask a question to coach or the student athletes. And those individuals using Zoom, we just ask that you use the hand feature. We are recording this press conference. We ask that there's no use of cell phones or cameras. Thank you. And now we welcome to the stage Southeast Missouri. In the middle is Chris Harris, who led the Red Hawks this evening with 23 points. Next to him, Philip Russell, 15 points, 10 assists. And their head coach, Brad Korn. Coach, before we get to questions, just your thoughts on the season and your team's effort here tonight.
I thought our effort today was a prime example of how these guys and how our team has been all season long. It's not looking good. We're down 10 in the second half, and that's all these guys have done all season long is continue to fight and claw and make timely shots and make big plays and get defensive stops, put yourself right back in position to maybe take the game. And free throws and rebounding cost us that opportunity. But again, when I look at Chris Harris, Philip Russell, and the rest of the guys on the team, what they were able to do for this program, this university, to play on this stage, pretty remarkable end to the season, and really couldn't be more proud of the way that they went about their business and really never stopped, never gave up, and continued to fight. And I think that's a lot that we can be proud of for our institution, our region, and the future of our program.
At this time, we open up questions for our student athletes. Second row.
Todd from KFES and Cape Girardeau. Phil and Chris, the rhythm that you guys found in the OVC tournament, it just seemed like for the first maybe 30 minutes of this game until that 10-point deficit and the run you guys went on just wasn't really there. What were they doing that prevented you guys from really finding that?
Chris?
First off, I just want to thank my teammates. They played a great season, great conference tournament, and they played as hard as they could tonight. The ball didn't bounce the way we wanted it to. And I want to give credit to our opponents because they made it hard on us on offense. I would say they denied, I would say both of us really, for the majority of the game. So we had to figure out ways around that. But honestly, I think it really comes down to us and what we can do. And I don't think we went out there and executed how we can execute for a full 40 minutes. So I really think that's where we fell short tonight.
Philip?
Well, me honestly, I don't really think they did. I don't really think they did anything to. Well, basically, it was all on us. I'll say they denied us hard, but we seen it all year. We know how to step off, and we just did. I really feel like we just beat ourselves today. We didn't do things that we usually do, and as you can see, we fell short. So, they played hard. I tip my hat to them, but it wasn't really nothing that we never seen. So I just say this L was on us.
Other questions for our student athletes? Second row.
To both of you guys again, I mean, to look up and see the fan section that traveled from the Cape Girardeau and really all the SEMO fans everywhere. And that's something that you guys brought. So I know it's not the result you wanted, but to know that you helped bring this program to a new level it hasn't seen in so long, to see so many people wrap around that. I mean, how special is a moment like that for you guys?
Philip?
to me, it's very special. I know to the guys it was very special. Believe it or not, they gave us a boost. The crowd was in it today. It was a great atmosphere. We needed them here. I feel like if they wasn't here, it was gonna be hard for us to create energy. So I want to give a special shout out to them, and I appreciate y'all for that.
And Chris?
I would say the fans were great. The fan base we have is awesome. 4 years ago when I first got on campus, the Show Me Center was pretty much empty every game. So to be able to go from that to this year is louder than I've ever heard it before. And then we have obviously Selection Sunday. It's packed out. And then we come to the game today and see the support that, like you said, traveled. It's awesome because that's what we said we wanted to do when Coach Korn first took the job, and he called me in because we didn't know what was going on, and he was like, first things first, my mission and my goal is to change the image and perception of the program. And I feel like we've done that up until this point, and that was the way I wanted to finish out my career. So like Phil said, huge shout out to our fan base, and we appreciate you guys coming.
Any more questions for Chris or Philip? Gentlemen, a terrific season. Philip Russell, all-tournament team, first team, all OVC. Chris Harris was the MVP of the OVC tournament. Congratulations and best of luck moving forward. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
We now open up the floors. You guys are free to go. Thank you again. Questions for Coach Korn? Second row.
Jess Todd from KFAS and Cape Girardeau. Coach, I'll ask you the same question I asked them. When you look up, I know close game down the stretch, it's not the result you guys wanted, but especially the way that everybody was roaring down that stretch when you guys were making the comeback. I mean, how special is that to know of everything that you wanted to have this program become the last couple years? I feel like tonight was a good example of what it is now.
It's hard to put that into words. That's not easy. You're playing on a Tuesday night, and people's time and people's money is very, very important. Those are things that people work very hard for, and to sort of sacrifice that to come watch us play in the NCAA tournament, it shows the heartbeat of what our program and fan base can be and what they want to see and what it ultimately can be moving forward. So for them to do that, to take your hard-earned time, your hard-earned money, to show support for us, I think, again, it verifies the hard work that you put in as a staff, as staff families, as players, that what you're doing is right, and that people see that, they respect that, they honor that by giving their time and making the sacrifices financially to come and support us. And so you can tell by the answers that Chris and Phil gave, they see it, they feel it. We felt it all season, slowly building. Big contingency came for Evansville championship game. And so hopefully this is, as you mentioned, the beginning of what we can become.
Third row.
Chad Winch from the Barn Media Group. Coach, what was the message to the team in the locker room?
Just I wanted them to understand, and they probably don't, but just the impact that they've been able to have on our region and our university by what they've done and what they accomplished. I think it's something that's going to take root in them 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the line. But the text messages that I get, the emails that I get from people that truly, truly care about the program and what it means to them in their personal lives, that's what we needed. That's what our program needed. I think that's what Southeast basketball can be. And so I wanted them to understand that, because in that moment, that's a crushing moment. Your career is over for Chris, Nate, and Israel. And so I just wanted to reaffirm to them all the good that had happened up to that point, because it was a up and down season, to say the least. But I think a lot of the people that coach for everything in the middle, not the highs and not the lows. It's everything in the middle that make it all worthwhile. And there was a lot of the middle for us this season, and I wanted them to understand that, honor that, and respect that, especially in that moment when it's a crushing moment.
We'll jump online via Zoom. Mike, go ahead with your question to Coach.
Yeah, Brad, how important will it be that this is a step in the right direction you want to go and not the end all, despite how good this year was?
Yeah, I think that gives us the energy that we need as we move forward. When we get to design a ring, we get to hang a banner, and now everything that we do moving forward is going to be geared and centered around that. And so, as I said before, some validation, just because now it's not just words. There was actions behind those words, and now we have tangible proof of what, if we do it this way and we do this and we do this, we do this, we can do that again. And so I think it's just as an opportunity for our guys to really grab hold of something that happened, that they did, that they accomplished, and it's no longer just words. And so now moving forward, there's a standard now and a level that we have to get to each and every single day in everything that we do in order to have this feeling and in order to be able to come back again.
Second row.
Josh Todd, KFS, Cape Girardeau. Coach, with Chris and Nate and Israel too, with ending your careers, as you mentioned, more so Chris and Nate, just with how much turnover the team's had recently, how much of those two guys meant to the program and to see them get to this stage in their last game, just overall for you? Yeah,
just Nate and Chris, I told them after in the locker room, just like I couldn't have scripted a better thing for Chris Harris. You get your 1,000th point. You've got 2 degrees. You're going to win an OVC championship. You're going to play in the NCAA tournament. That's a full book, and you can't write it any better. Happy for Nate Johnson to be the one guy on our roster that played it and started every single game. He's the only guy, and he had a year taken away due to injury. And so to stick with it, when all the turnover is going on, Chris stuck with it, Nate stuck with it, and then for Israel to join us, taking a chance on us with 10 months left in his basketball career. And then putting all that together, going through the ups and downs. And so to see it through on the other side, that's what it's supposed to be about. I know we get caught up in all the other stuff in the world and in the microwave society, but to see Chris kind of be an outlier in that respect, and for Nate to stick it out, and for Israel to jump on board and not be a distraction and be a man of character the way that he is and represent us the way he does, to me, there's still hope out there for the good guys, and those are all 3 good guys.
Mike, another question via Zoom.
Yeah, just one more, Brett. It's been a while back when you played at Mizzou, but I asked you then if that schedule and playing those kind of games was going to be, what you needed it to be to get you where you wanted to go. How important was the schedule now that that's all said and done?
I still feel the same way, that it was too hard, but at the same time, I think that it did prepare us. It gave us some adversity. And I really believe that it was a reason why we were able to win 4 games in 4 days at the end of the season. But it really, adversity reveals character, and we didn't splinter from one another. That doesn't mean that we didn't have some spirited practices and conversations along the way, but we didn't splinter. We stuck together, and even in games like tonight, you're down 10, and all those experiences along the way and the tough schedule, I think, prepared us for it. And it made the Mizzou game you referenced, but it just, no stage or no opponent was too big. And so when you get in on these stages, or if we were to win and go play a number 1 overall seed like Alabama, and you've now played a Missouri and so Iowa, you have to prepare your guys in the regular season for the postseason. So I think it did that. But as a coach, and we didn't win as many as I wanted to, I'd say that it was too hard.
Back row, far side.
Southeast Arrow. Coach, obviously you get in a position like this to be playing the NCAA tournament, and you have the guys like Chris Harris, the seniors, but you also have some younger guys. What's the most important takeaway some of these younger guys can learn from today's to build into next year?
Yeah, I think that it's now a guy like Evan Ursher, and even though Adam redshirted a year ago, 2 freshmen, they've now started their careers by going to the NCAA tournament. And so now what do you want for the rest of your career? Do you want to continue to go to the NCAA tournament? Do you want to walk out of SEMO and say, I went to 4 straight NCAA tournaments? Do I want to be a multi-champion? I think that's the thing for them, and that's the motivator. You're always looking for motivation. You always have to look for things to get you out of the hard days, because it's the guys that show up on the days that they don't want to are the ones that have success. And so now a championship-level team or a championship-level run that we had, that gets you out of bed on the days that you don't necessarily want to. And so as a freshman, that now instills what we're going to try to do and move forward with the program. And even though he's not a freshman, but a guy like Dylan Branson. And so now we bring other people into the program. It's like, no, we do it this way because this is how we won a championship. And so, again, it just goes back to that validation of what you're doing is going to be held up now by the players, and it's not just coach-driven or just words on a chalkboard. It's tangible, real-life effort, blood, sweat, tears that went into that to make it happen, and everybody knows that now, and it's got to be a consistent message of what the standard now is.
One more question.
Blake Showalter, Southeast Arrow. To kind of piggyback on your impact on the program, what's your message to your guys after 23 years of not going to March Madness and finally coming this year and winning the OVC championship? What is your message to your guys about how proud you are of them, and just your overall message to the program, and also, of course, like your guys and the younger guys as well?
Yeah, I'm always going to be a deflect guy. I'm not going to take any credit. Of course, head coach and all that stuff, and that comes with the territory. But there's so many people that go into that. I think the message to the guys that there's not just one player, there's not just one coach. I said it in my introductory press conference, it's a combination of a whole lot of people pulling in the same direction. So, but to say that you're not proud of that, I'm not going to be that coy or that bashful about it. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. But again, it's one of those things like if your dreams aren't big enough to get you out of bed, you got the wrong dreams, or you're in the wrong place. And so now we got to go do it again. And that's the beautiful thing about coaching and leading a group of young people. Is college basketball doesn't care what you did yesterday. And so now tomorrow we got to get right back at it, and if we want to be sitting here again. And I think that's the message to the guys, and to understand that it does take a team. That's why basketball is the greatest sport in the world. You can't just – it's not just one guy. It's not just one coach. It's a whole lot of people pulling in the right direction. And if we want to get back here someday, if we want to be multi-champions, now we know how to do that.
Coach, thank you so much. Congratulations on a fantastic season.
Thank you.
Winners of the Ohio Valley Conference, Southeast Missouri, and Coach Brad Korn. Again, Hammond Communications will post the recording of this press conference. You can find that NCAAveritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Thank you.